A busy trade deadline day in Major League Baseball. We're checking in with Peter Pratt at Locked On Marlins because the Marlins are sending a couple of pitchers out and hopefully getting a promising infield prospect back. What was your immediate reaction to this trade and kind of what you're expecting to get out of it?
Yeah, I expected that this would be a trade the Marlins would make, I would say, at this deadline. Anthony Bass has been really good for the Fish this year, which has been a nice rebound, I guess, from last year. So, he really struggled last year, but Bass really found his role this year for the Fish. And so, yeah, I think he was one of the most coveted and obvious bullpen arms to go at this deadline. The interesting name, I think, here is Zach Pop. 5 years of control on Zach Pop. He's been a nice piece. Has pitched well as well. But, clearly from the Marlins perspective, sell some relievers and look
Yep.
to add some offensive talent to the system. Hopefully, Groshans will deliver that for the Marlins. Don't know a ton about him. Former, 13th, 12th overall pick a few years ago in the draft. Is still a top 100 prospect at shortstop. Maybe can, slide over to third base. So I think from a Marlins perspective, got to be happy with this. Move some relievers. We're out of the running. Let's add some hitting talent for sure. So overall, good reaction just now.
So Groshans is kind of on the edge there, right, as a prospect. You're drafted in 2018, but is he kind of on that cusp of coming through or not? He'll certainly get that playing time in Miami. What are you guys hoping to see out of that, kind of develop him this year, hopefully?
Yeah, I think that's the interesting bit. There's clearly been some challenges for the Marlins in developing hitters in general. So I think, there's a
Mhm.
nervousness around that. But I think in reality, he's been playing at a relatively high level at a young age. So for the age, he's actually performing okay. He looks like a contact type hitter, not a power guy. Look, the Marlins need contact hitters. They need to add that to the system. So I'm intrigued to see where he ends up for the back end of this year in terms of whether it's double A, triple A. We'll wait and see. Basically, the whole of triple A is at the major league level right now for the Marlins. There's so many injuries, so it may be that he drops into triple A. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's still time for more trades. Miguel Rojas perhaps is another potential option. Could he just kind of be just jettisoned into Miami straight away? I mean, that would be some story, but we'll wait and see.
So obviously there is a couple more hours until we hit the trade deadline. So do you see them potentially making more moves today? Do you think they're going to sell off some more stuff, or where do you see the team going?
I think there's a lot of different ways this team can go. There's been a lot of hyperbole around it too. Clearly we're hearing the names Pablo Lopez to the Dodgers. As soon as you start hearing that, you're thinking there's, it's potential. Garrett Cooper as well. So there's guys with control. There's not a lot of rentals from the Marlins side, so they don't have to sell. But I think if the right deal appears, anyone's available. And I'd probably exclude Sandy Alcantara from that. But I think if the right deal literally appears for the Fish, then it wouldn't shock me if Kim pulls the trigger on it. So I think there's definitely some more action to have here. Jesus Aguilar definitely needs to be moved. He's the only real expiring deal that we have. So likely that Aguilar goes. Interested to see if Cooper also goes. Both of them being kind of flicking between first base and DH. But as I mentioned, Miguel Rojas, he's got 1 year left. Could be an interesting piece as well. Joey Wendell has been some buzz. So the Marlins could go so many different ways. But I think for the headline deal, not quite Juan Soto-like, but Pablo Lopez would be up there in terms of the haul that they would be able to get back for 2 years plus this year of control. So plenty of control on Pablo.
Going forward, I mean, is this kind of, it's not like a hard rebuild necessarily, but obviously when you're shipping off some prospects like this, what is like the long-term goal? Do you just want to get these guys more reps, like some of these prospects, and see where they are for the rest of the season? Or is it still trying to, make a run at a wild card because baseball is crazy like that?
I think the wild card's dead. I think we're happy to call that one now. They were definitely flirting with that at one stage, but they've
Right.
just, as soon as and you were looking ahead at the schedule thinking, okay, great, there's some favorable, maybe matchups here. They just haven't played well. They've been really banged up too. So we have to call that out. Clearly Jazz Chisholm hasn't played for, a bunch of time now. He's our best offensive guy. And the offense has just really struggled. It really, really has. And so we're going to rule out the wild card unless something insane happens. And I've got no problem with it happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. So if that does, happy days. But I do think this is more give playing time to like a JJ Bleday who's now up. Lewin Diaz too. We'll wait and see what trades happen. There may be a few other spots available. And, equally, they need to get some of their arms back as well. Luzardo just returned yesterday. Edward Cabrera too is coming back up. So, it is time for the Fish to kind of see what they've got, right now on the 40-man. And they look ahead to 2023.
All right, the Fisher sellers today. Peter will probably be checking in with you a little bit later if they keep making moves like this, but we appreciate you checking in with us.
Absolutely.